The Digital Photography Cafe show is brought to you by Focus Pyramid, the autofocus lens calibration tool for your camera.
Welcome to the Digital Photography Cafe show. Join hosts Trevor Current and Joseph Cristina as they serve up the hottest photography news and commentary.
Hey everybody, welcome back to the show. This is episode 223. I'm Joseph Cristina here with my co-host Trevor Current. Hey Trev, what's going on, my friend?
Hey, how you doing?
I am all right. Big news this week. Huge news. But before we get into it, there's other stuff that we need to cover. But Canon finally releases, or I guess announces, the Canon 5D Mark IV. For pre-order, I guess you'd say. So
pre-order.
That's massive. But we'll get into that later on in the show. There's a lot of stuff to cover.
Yeah. We want to kick it off with Nikon and their more consumer level DSLR, let's say. The D3400 was announced. And what's significant about this particular camera is they added built-in Bluetooth technology,
right,
which is kind of cool. It works with the with SnapBridge. So that enables you to connect your camera to your phone and be able to, get your images from the camera to the phone and be able to use them on social. And they also have their Nikon image space, which gives you cloud storage and the ability to share your photos and albums.
Yeah, my question is, who is not doing cloud service at this point, right? It's
yeah, I mean, we're all using some form of cloud.
Yeah,
so
everything
it's just
is
another cloud iteration,
right? I do think it's cool though to be able to use your D3400 to take some really nice shots and offload them onto your, let's say, your iPhone or your Samsung or whatever you're using, and be able to throw them up into social. And now all of a sudden you don't have this. All right, I'm going to use the iPhone to take this picture because I want to share it on my Facebook account, and having kind of, I wouldn't call them crap images, but they're just not really good images. And
they're not what they could be.
Yeah, not as good as they could be. You don't have a telephoto lens you could be using and all kinds of other stuff, or a macro lens or whatever. So it's kind of neat to be able to do this through this Bluetooth technology. And I believe it's, what is it, an LE Bluetooth, I think?
Yes, Bluetooth LE. Yep. Yeah. Well, this is the issue that the photo industry is facing right now. We as photographers are kind of used to lugging cameras around with us because that's what we do, right? But I mean, I'm the first to admit that when I'm out and about with the family and stuff, I don't have a camera with me other than my phone. Right. So it really does turn into a camera of convenience.
Absolutely.
And that really turns into the iPhone. But yeah, this is what manufacturers need to do. They need to reduce that barrier in order to use a quality camera, whether it be a DSLR or point and shoot, and have the integration with smart devices so that way we can share them easily.
Yeah.
I think if we can make this more convenient, more and more people will do it who are really photography enthusiasts. Right. And rather than trying to, get down low and following the rule of thirds with your iPhone, now you can actually do it with a camera.
Yeah, with a camera that can do some really good shots. I mean, I can tell you me, for example, I've been a professional photographer for 20 plus years. And whenever we go to Disney with the kids, it's always a dilemma that I'm having with myself. Do I take, a 5D, or do I take, an S120 that's smaller? Then the S120 that I take, I can't get the pictures off it to be able to send it to social. So maybe I don't take the S120. Maybe I just use the iPhone. And then what ends up happening is now all of a sudden, all of your memories that you just paid $1,200 to get into the park for all the kids and stuff. Now you just basically have iPhone memories in comparison to high-end video, high-end photo. So it's definitely a dilemma. I do like the idea of Wi-Fi connection. I do like the idea of NFC, Bluetooth. However you can get those images from a higher end camera into your phone, I just think is an awesome idea.
Yeah,
anyway, so.
I agree. I agree. I mean, I know even from this summer we went to an amusement park, and I've got kids riding, our kids riding the little roller coaster, and we all do it, right? We all stand back about 30 feet from the ride with our iPhone, shooting a picture, thinking we're going to get just this fantastic
it's
thing.
Like that. There's my son.
It's like, there's their head. Yeah.
Just squeeze them. Yeah, that's it. So, but
Yeah,
anyways, moving on into your wheelhouse, and that would have to be WordPress, right? You are the WordPress guy.
Yes.
You are the one that always tells me, Joe, there is a plugin for that. I love hearing that, right? You are the plugin guy. So yeah, WordPress, brand new WordPress 4.6 came out with a lot of little niceties, but one of the most important things is security, right?
Yeah. I mean, with every major core release and even the intermediate releases, a lot of times they address security.
Right.
WordPress as a core system, I mean, it's open source. It's PHP. It uses MySQL database. I mean, it is vulnerable. Just the language itself is vulnerable that it's written in. Where we really run into the problems from a security standpoint is usually with the plugins. Different plugin manufacturers or developers that may not be as diligent with their security protocols,
right.
Create these software with holes in them. And in fact, I just wrote an article referencing Ninja Forms.
Right.
Was one of the problems. So yeah, no doubt with these core updates, they do help to address a lot of the security. What's nice with this version though is it's a lot of user interface improvements. Like now they have streamlined updates. So if you guys are using WordPress for your photo business sites, you know that when you go to update a plugin, you go to update a theme, it brings you off screen to another screen. It shows you the progress, and then it says, okay, it's been activated, and that's fine. And for those of us that have been using it for many, many, many years, we're used to it. That's just the way it works.
Right.
But for a new user, it's kind of a cumbersome interface. So now what they've done is they actually have the progress and like a green checkbox that comes up on the same page when you go to run your update.
Right.
So that's pretty nice.
Yeah. I remember updates were always an issue when it first came out, where it would go into like a maintenance mode, and then all of a sudden the update would fail, and then your site is down because it's stuck in maintenance mode and you can't pull it out of maintenance mode. That was always an issue. As they've had this automation in, like, let's say, installed into the WordPress, I think it's just awesome. I want the thing to just update on its own. You know what I mean? I want it to just do what it needs to do. Now, bear in mind, the most critical update that you can do besides the base is all of these plugins, right? Because the plugins are the worst. Those are the things that are, I would say, 9 times out of 10 exploited. So many of us have, let's say, a current install of WordPress, but then we have plugins that are literally 2, 3, 4 years old, and that could be really problematic because you end up with these security holes and bugs that are in them, and possibly these plugins are not even under development anymore. So you're literally using a plugin that's let's say 2-3 years old that the vulnerability will never be fixed. There's no update for it, so you need to be careful.
Yeah, I've had many clients migrate their websites over to our hosting platform because it's designed specifically for WordPress. And I've had to do just that, not only go in and do updates, but actually remove some plugins because they're no longer supported. They're no longer in development.
Right.
And, and we don't want to have to support somebody else's code.
Yeah.
I mean, if they're no longer supporting it, if we don't have access to get these security updates, we don't want to use them. There's enough plugins out there doing very similar things that we'll just find another one. So, Anyway, just a quick couple other features. The WordPress admin will now utilize your system fonts for display rather than trying to download fonts over the internet. So that helps to speed up the admin a little bit. They have an inline link checker. So now when you go to add a link to something, it will tell you whether it's actually a valid URL or not. So that way you don't post something with a broken link.
Right.
And they have a content recovery feature now that stores your progress in your web browser. So that way if you ever happen to lose internet connectivity, it will store in the web browser, it will save it. So when internet comes back, it will sync back with the server, say, hey, there's an update in the browser that's newer than what's on the server. Do you want to update it?
Right.
You click yes, bam, and now everything is saved. So I really think that's important. So definitely, if you're using WordPress, be sure to back up your files in your database before you do this update. And, in case there's a problem, you can restore. But it definitely looks like it's going to be a good, update.
Nice. So moving on, Amazon. Some odd things happened at Amazon as of late, right, Trev?
Yeah, I know this kind of hits home with you. So Amazon Prime membership that they have, I know a lot of us have it. We get that, the free 2-day shipping. I mean, for me, that is why I have a Prime membership.
Right.
The fact that you can get the Amazon Prime videos and the Prime music, and you can get the Kindle books and stuff like that. I mean, it's kind of icing on the cake. But for me, I like that free 2-day shipping, because when I'm doing my shopping and I see that Prime badge, I know that when I click that button, and I'm going to get it in 2 days. It's going to be at my door.
And I guess
that is important to me.
I guess that's the wrinkle, right, Trev? So I just did a video. I'm going to put it up on the screen right now. You can go over there and take a look at it, guys. And I'll give you a more detailed description. But I guess in kind of like the highlights of it, basically Amazon has, I would say, diluted that Amazon Prime badge. And how did they do this? Basically, in the past, like you said, if you go and say, okay, I'm going to buy a Prime item, you're going to get it in, let's say, 2 days. And the reason you know that, or how they do that, is all of the companies like myself send product to a hub, a centralized center, right? Amazon Center. And then what they do is they take, let's say, 100 units or 1,000 units and then divvy it up and send it to all these micro hubs throughout the country, right? So this way, if someone orders my product from Amazon and they're in, let's say, Maine, they're going to get it in 2 days. Or if they're in California across the entire United States, they're still going to get it in 2 days. That's how they do it. Well, what Amazon has done is they've taken that badge and they've given that badge now to people that want to fulfill the product themselves. That is a big issue. Now, all of a sudden, that time frame has changed, right?
Yeah, so now third-party sellers. So if you've been on Amazon and you see something that says sold by and fulfilled by Amazon, so that sold by somebody other than Amazon is a third-party seller. And just like you said, they send product in and it gets distributed through the Amazon shipping system.
Right.
But yeah, so now these third-party sellers can utilize the Prime badge, but self-fulfill, which basically means they've got 24 hours or 48 hours to ship it.
Right.
But if, like in your case, you're in Florida, if you're trying to ship a product to California, you're going to have the 2 business days to get the product out, and then you're going to have the delivery time, which, could be 3 to 5 business days.
Yeah, exactly.
So this really extends the delivery time that you get the things that you ordered.
Yeah, and the thing is what really is problematic is a lot of us use one click, and that is a registered trademarked thing that was created by Amazon that allows you to buy something with just simply one click. It keeps all of your data, it keeps where it needs to ship to, it keeps everything. That's all you have to do is just click one button and you're going to get it in 2 days. Well, before this, let's say Amazon Prime badge, was diluted and now it's being shipped by whoever, you would get it in 2 days. Now, all of a sudden, if you click that one-click button and you do not check if the product is quote unquote fulfilled by Amazon, you could potentially get a product that you think that you're going to get in 2 days in 10 days or in 9 days or whatnot. So you really need to be adamant now. And one of the things is I actually called Amazon about this, and I said, well, we can go and search for Amazon Prime, and a lot of us that are Prime members do, right? So we'll go and let's say look for a football, and we say, okay, I want a football, but I need it in 2 days. Let me go and do all the footballs that are Prime. Then click one and order it. end of day. Everything's perfect, right? That's great. The thing is, I asked them, well, can you now search for Amazon Prime products that are fulfilled by Amazon and not a third party? And she said,
that's the key right there.
She said no. So what that means is the people that use one click, they really need to be vigilant on who is fulfilling the product that they're ordering. If not, they're going to get into some serious issues. So I kind of break it down into a little bit more detail, like I said, on that video that I just did. It's very, very interesting, and I hope it helps you guys out also. So
yeah, that's right. So if you're in dire need of a razor like I am,
that's right.
You don't want to do this one click and end up getting your razors.
And
that could be bad.
And fulfilled from someone in Bangladesh.
That's right.
Yeah, you'd be like woolly mammoth by then. So anyways, guys, we got a lot more for you on the backside of this break. Hang in there. We'll be right back. The 3-in-1 photo reference tool featuring the revolutionary dual access color control is a versatile all-in-one color reference accessory designed to help photographer and videographer dial in white balance, exposure, and color temperature. The PRT features a large gray card with center target, making autofocus lockup easy while providing fast temperature neutralization in camera or in post-production. A 12-step exposure gradient helps produce perfect tonal reproduction, balancing highlights with deep, rich blacks. Most photographers color balance by eye, using the temperature slider to warm or cool an image. This method delivers inconsistent and inaccurate results. The backside of the PRT features our dual-access color control system, which addresses this problem. With a single click, this system will automatically adjust color temperature and apply color tint to produce optimal and repeatable results for beautiful photos every time. From in-camera to post-production, the 3-in-1 photo reference tool helps push your creativity to the next level, providing complete color control over all your imaging creations. Grab one from your local or online camera dealer or visit our website at jcristina.com.
All right, we're back. And so the big, huge news of the week is the Canon 5D Mark IV has officially been announced. We've had the rumor specs now for a couple weeks. We've been talking about it on the show here. Joe, I know you've done a couple videos about it. And now it's official. There's, the big, love it or hate it.
Yeah, the big hoopla.
On.
Yeah. I did probably two videos that really were received really well. Yep. Regarding the 5D Mark IV and all of the rumors that were associated with it. And I kind of boiled down and kind of read the tea leaves on what I thought was going to be real and what was going to be fake and what made sense and what didn't. And I ended up being pretty accurate on it. There's a couple of things I missed on, but most of them I was pretty accurate on it. It came out really good. And what ended up happening with this whole thing was the idea of the Canon 5D Mark IV as a camera, as a replacement to the 5D Mark III, I think is a valid replacement. The problem that I have with it is it's still, once again, not that big, innovation that we're always hoping that Canon will do. Right. It is still very iterative. It's more of that iteration. And that's where, like I keep on saying, Sony is just eating the lunch of Canon and Nikon. They're doing stuff that's out of the box. They're rethinking stuff, and they're doing stuff that's fresh, and people are seeing it. And even after this, release, I would have to say, more than 50, maybe 60% of the people are not happy or not pleased, with this 5D Mark IV. Now, I guess we should kind of get into what the actual specs are, right, Trev? What ended up being released.
Right. So let's look at the nuts and bolts of it, right? So we've got a 30.4 megapixel full frame CMOS sensor. That's awesome. This is what we've kind of been rumored. This is what we've been talking about. So it's got a single Digic 6 Plus image processor, just one processor. That, I think, is a key factor in this whole thing. 3.2-inch touchscreen LCD monitor on the back. Touchscreen, obviously brand new to the 5D line. That I think is really good. I think that's a nice improvement. There are those who are going to like it. There are those who are not. Hopefully they have a nice proximity sensor in there. So when you stick your grill up to it, it doesn't start touching it with your face. But I'm sure it'll work probably like our smartphones do and stuff, and like all the other cameras do. It does shoot 4K video. That's big. That is kind of that modern technology, but at only 30 frames per second. And you can pull 8.8 megapixel stills out of it, which is good. I mean, there are a certain breed of photographer who are doing this kind of hybrid shooting, and where they're, even during their portrait sessions or what have you, they're shooting video, a few seconds of video, and then they're actually pulling stills from that video for the prints. And, it's got some validity to it, whether you believe in that mindset or not. But, I get it. I think the 61 points of autofocus, I mean, that's good. It's nothing new. I mean, this is what they've put in a couple of the other 5D cameras. So
absolutely, and 41 points of cross type, which is mission critical. As many cross types as I can get as I want. Yeah. You also have your native is now 32,000. It'll go up to as far as ISO, whereas like the 5D Mark IV did, I think it was 6,400 was like that peak. Of course, you always have that expanded that goes up to 100,000, but it's basically useless. It also has dual pixel RAW and dual pixel CMOS, though dual pixel RAW is very interesting. It's the same type of technology as I would say like 70D, 80D, where it does a lot of back end stuff where it can follow focus really well. 7 frames per second as far as shooting. That's always nice. Built-in GPS, Wi-Fi, and NFC. That's pretty big.
Yeah.
Once again, like we were talking about at the very beginning of the show, having a way to offload images to your phone or having a way to offload images to your computer wireless is always cool, even in a studio setting, and you don't want a long tethering wire that's connected to your camera. You want to do it wirelessly. You're going to be able to do it. This one is obviously not Bluetooth LE. We're using Wi-Fi as well as NFC. But still, regardless, it's cool. But like you were saying at the beginning here, Digix 6 Plus only having one processor, that is definitely an issue. I don't understand that. And also what I spoke about in my videos is the lack of cFast 2.0 being a serious issue to me, because the only way to do video and write it quickly is you need cFast. You need something that you can write to these CF cards really quickly, and 4K requires that. And originally in the rumors, they were saying that 4K was going to do 60 frames per second max. 1080p was going to do 120 frames max, so you can do slow-mo. They dumbed that all down. So like you were saying, 4K only does 30 frames. 1080p only does maximum of 60 frames, and you actually have to drop back to 720p to get slow-mo.
At 120 frames.
At 120 frames, and then that doesn't even have audio.
That doesn't have audio. I know there's been a lot of rumblings out there about that as well. Like, why would you not have audio at 120? Now, there would be the argument saying, well, I mean, if you're slowing the video down, you're going to be using an external audio source anyway, right? And what do you need audio for? But I don't know. I see no reason why you shouldn't be able to have audio as well.
Yeah, it's kind of very, very odd. But, the idea of cFast, I think, is a major thing. They should have put 2 Digix 6 plus processors into it. What the thing is they claim that it was going to have 422 recording capability. Now, I go into that in my video ad nauseum, and I explain. Matter of fact, I'll put a link to that video. It's it gives you a lot of information of what the difference between 444 video is, 422, and 420 subsampling, and why it's important to you. Why? That's the main thing. Why is it important to you? So all DSLRs have always recorded 420, which is highly subsamples, highly compressed. So being able to do 422 in the past, you would need to take your HDMI out cable and offload it into like a Blackmagic or a Ninja or some other type of external recording device. But what they were saying is you can do 422 internally native into this camera. Well, that kind of fell on its face because 422 you can do under 4K using, as they're using a little crop area of the sensor, which is also an issue. You're not getting 4K over the over the entire sensor. You're getting into a crop. But now 1080p and 720 they don't even give you 422. They're giving you 420. Right. Once again. It's like, why? I just gonna wring their neck, It's like, why?
Yeah.
I mean, there's so many things.
That is the general consensus, so the mindset of this is the next iteration of the 5D Mark III, and from there it was the 5D Mark II. So if you're in the camp of one of those cameras and you've been using one of those bodies for many, many, many years, and it served its needs and you're shooting your images, I mean, it's like stepping up into the next couple years car, right? If you're driving a 2012 Lexus and, now it's 2016, and, they changed the body style a little bit. They put in more creature comforts. You may stay with the Lexus brand, right? The same with the Canon. I mean, anybody that's utilizing those older models for what they did will probably be happy with this. But for somebody coming in, looking at it from the standpoint of what does technology today offer? Well, it offers cFast. It offers 422. It offers 444. I mean, there's a lot of technology offerings that are out there, and it's kind of like the Apple model here, where Apple builds really beautiful, well-designed computer hardware, but using older technology. I mean, by the time they implemented USB 3, it had already been out in the PC environment for many years, but they spun it to it's the greatest thing since sliced bread, So, I mean, I don't know. I mean, there's looking at the boards and stuff and looking at the feedback, I mean, you definitely have your diehard Canon users that are very happy with this announcement, especially those that are coming maybe from a 5D Mark II, who when the 5D Mark III came out, their Mark II was still good, and they really didn't see the need to update for the additional features. But now 3-4 years later, their 5D Mark II is getting a little long in the tooth. They need something new. Well, now this 5D Mark IV looks really appealing to them. And it's the same price point of what they paid for the Mark II many years ago, for the most part. Right.
And now you're seeing a lot of the folks that see the value of Sony and their A7 S2 as well as their A7 R2.
Yep.
And they look at that and say, wow, a lot of stuff that we're getting in this camera, we still don't have available to us in the Canon.
In the Canon line.
Which is problematic considering the price is like $1,000 less or $500-600 less or whatever, and it's mirrorless and it's more up to date. Yep. That doesn't mean that the Sony A7 S2 or R2 is better than this Canon 5D Mark IV. But what I think is, just like you said, there's so many things that they could have put into it that they didn't, and I just don't understand why. Now, remember, when Vincent Laforet ended up making Revelry, and it was like the huge success, right? With the Canon 5D Mark II on a budget that was like nothing, like $5,000 or something.
Right.
People migrated to the Canon 5D. There were shows like, the series House, there was a couple of shows that were actually recorded on 5D Mark IIs.
Sure.
So it was a lot of wedding photographers started using them along with the 70s and whatnot. But a lot of people started using it for video, and seeing that and knowing that it is still a hybrid device, you would think that they would put in, Vlog, or they would put in like Zebra and, methods that to be able to detect highlights, lowlights being blown or plugged, lowlights and other things in video, these video niceties, which you don't see. The one thing that I do see that is really done well is the method of tracking faces and facial recognition with this dual pixel that they have going on, where they're capturing like 60, megapixels compared to 30, and they're using the other 30 for doing a lot of back end work and whatnot. And just the way that it's working on those pixels and seeing, two different, let's say, views of the exact same object, and being able to marry the two together, the way it does do the facial tracking. But since it does that, I want to see an articulating back screen so that we can use it for vlogging, or so that I can use it for video recording and stand next to my gear, shooting a wedding, and being able to tap on, all right, I want the groom's face, now I want the bride's face, which is cool, but I don't want to stand behind the unit. Maybe I want to stand to the side, or maybe
you want to put it
lower
or above your head or something, and you just want to tilt the screen a little bit so you can see it.
Exactly. Yeah. So, the 70D and the 80D already has this technology. Why don't you stick it in there? So I don't know. And that's why I said it's more iterative instead of innovative when I look at what has been done with this 5D. Will I pick one up? We'll probably get one in for the studio, but is it something that I'm just
chomping at the bit to go by?
Yeah. I just, maybe I'll wait a little while. I'm not going to be pre-ordering it. I'll probably rent one in first to test it out like I always do. And when I do, I'll make a video and I'll show you guys on it on the vlog, to kind of see how it does,
Yeah, I would think from a marketing standpoint, Canon is probably looking at this saying, we have our core base of 5D users, and we need to make a device that's going to keep them happy, not necessarily bring in new customers, but we need to keep them happy. And for those who are happy with the existing 5D platform, will probably be happy with this. For those 5D users that were looking for more, they're going to be disappointed, and they will potentially lose customers here.
Trevor, I have to say one thing. That model would have worked pre-Sony Alpha.
Yes. Well, they have competition now. That's right.
They literally now have competition that's legitimate competition.
Yeah.
And I've said this, I've predicted this. I see, Sony coming out with a medium format, mirrorless type of option out there. This is going to be crazy.
Yep.
I do see something like a Sony Alpha A8 being, crazy 4K that's going to be doing, vlog and being, being able to do a lot of stuff. Maybe they'll even have an attachment that will, allow you to stick on a couple of XLR mics, just that will be very similar now to, for example, a C100 or a C300 by Canon, which are video monsters that do just a phenomenal job, right? So, and for half the price.
Right. Well, but you say that though too, and that may be part of their mindset as well. They don't want to undercut the C line, with this 5D.
Could be.
Like if they put too many of the higher end video features, let's say, that people would want, to make it more of that video camera, it could conflict with their C100 at that point. And and you use the C100, you know how badass that camera is. So, awesome, and utilizing your EF lenses. So, that it's all about business, and it's all about marketing, and it's not necessarily listening to the consumer, and it's not necessarily looking at what the industry as a whole is doing. It's what Canon thinks is best for their bottom line and for their business model and their product line.
Right. So, all right, Trev, we need to get out, bud.
Yes, we do. So if our viewers and listeners want to connect with you outside of the show, where can they reach you?
Yeah, you can connect with me in two different places. One on Twitter, and that's at Joseph Cristina, and that's Cristina with no H. And you can head over to YouTube and find my channel over at J Cristina Photo.
Excellent. And you can connect with me on Twitter. It's at Trevor Curran.
All right, everyone, we're out of here for yet another week. You can get all the show notes from this episode and past episodes over at digitalphotographycafe.com. And don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel at youtube.com/dphotocafe. And we'll see you next week. Take care, guys.
You've been watching the Digital Photography Cafe show with Trevor Curran and Joseph Cristina. Subscribe to our YouTube channel with any compatible device by visiting youtube.com/dphotocafe. Be sure to subscribe to our audio feed through iTunes, Stitcher, TuneIn, and Xbox Music apps, or through RSS. Visit digitalphotographycafe.com for show notes and to connect with your hosts.